Pro-Trump attorney Sidney Powell has teamed up with Mike Lindell, the MyPillow guy, along with Mike Flynn, the general who Sidney Powell represented against the government, and Joe Flynn, Mike's son, to form Restore the Republic Super PAC. This is a political action committee which will allow them to take in an unlimited amount of contributions and make an unlimited amount of expenditures towards political activities. And this marks a pretty interesting shift for Sidney Powell as she transitions away from actively litigating over the 2020 presidential election. As I reported last week, she has dropped her lawsuits in Michigan and Georgia, and this allows her to look forward to 2022 and beyond by being able to accept contributions and pass those on in without really any limits to political action and towards candidates, although not directly to them. So let's talk about this. Why am I talking about this? I'm Nick Recato of Recato Law, a small law firm in central Minnesota. I'm a lawyer and legal commentator and political commentator here on YouTube. If you like that stuff, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any future videos. Okay, so briefly, a super PAC is a IRS approved entity under Section 527. You may have heard of like a 501c3 or 501c4. Well, the 527 operates in the same way. It refers to the Internal Revenue Code, and this is Section 527. This was created back in 1975, but got a lot more powerful and open in about 2010 with the Citizens United ruling, which took away a lot of the existing restrictions on this. So political action committee is different from like a campaign. A campaign is limited by how much money it can take in, and it has different kinds of requirements on what expenditures it can make. Political action committee really doesn't have a limit on how much money it can take in or spend on a particular issue, but it is sort of limited in that it can't just give money directly to a campaign, and it can't coordinate with a campaign beyond the normal contribution limits that everyone is subject to, right? Like they can give like $5,000 to a campaign, but that's it. However, they can spend as much as they want buying ads or doing other sorts of services in favor of a campaign, just not a single one. It has to be tied to a political activity, not a political person. All right. That's kind of a brief explainer on how this works. But the crazy thing is they don't have any limits. And this allows a lot of money to change hands. Consequently, the super PAC does have to report. They have to report their donors, and those reports are publicly accessible. So there is a little bit of a trade-off through the form of transparency. Now, there's a whole bunch of stuff we could talk about dark money and masking contributions in various ways, but that's not really important to this. Right now, we're talking about why they created this and what it means going forward. Let's go to the webpage, the Restore the Republic PAC.com, which will be down in the description below if you want to visit it yourself. I've just got the About Us section up and figured we should read it here. We are proud to announce the formation of Restore the Republic PAC, which will be dedicated to supporting candidates who will fight vigorously for our constitutional rights, freedom of speech, and the sacred right of free and fair elections. The PAC will promote candidates who fight for truth and the rule of law, and we will strenuously oppose any candidate who discards the Constitution for his own short-term or political gain, regardless of her party. 80 million people were just disenfranchised by the inauguration of a president not elected by lawful votes. The Democrats abandoned their base and the Republicans betrayed theirs. The American people are starved for truth, restoration of the rule of law, and even-handed accountability. Americans are fed up with the corruption in government and elitist political class that views them with condescension and contempt. The American people deserve a voice that exposes and rejects the self-interests of political parties, the control of tech giants, and the lies of the fake news. We will be the voice for honesty, integrity, and a return to government by we the people. Join this new endeavor, co-funded by Mike Lindell and Joe Flynn, but also Mike Flynn and Sidney Powell. They are also co-founders. So this, of course, lays out their reasoning for doing this. They feel like the 2020 election exposed the disenfranchisement of the voter. They feel like it exposed big tech and media collusion in impacting elections, and they saw a lot of complicit candidates who were unwilling to fight or who were all too willing to accept big tech's benefits. And so they are out here and they are alleging that they will go ahead and support candidates who oppose that. But this is the next step, right? There is no more real legal fight that can happen. There isn't likely to be any sort of transition away from Joe Biden as president other than his untimely demise and a move to Kamala Harris coming in. So this is how they are taking the fight to the future. And we'll probably see more of this. And this is reminiscent in some ways of the Tea Party. The right felt disenfranchised after the election of Obama, and we saw a rise of political action coming out of the right in a way that they really hadn't done in a while. They organized at local levels and individuals, and they started to make a movement. And I think we're going to see some different movements pop up and coalesce into something going into 2022 with an intent to curb Democrat power in Congress, as they have every time the Democrats in the past have taken on a massive majority. So here we go. We'll see where this goes. If you like this stuff, again, please hit that subscribe button, but drop a comment below and tell me what you think. Do you guys still stick with Sidney Powell? Are you tired of her stuff? Are you looking forward to impacting 2022? I mean, there's some real questions here about how all this stuff is going to work out, and I'd love to get your guys' thoughts. Thanks a bunch. Until we talk next time, peace. Peace.